Okay, so we found that perfect property. Um, what we'll need to do now is I'll contact the loan officer. We'll get an updated pre-approval letter, and we'll also need what's called proof of funds or verification of funds. It's in the contract, and it actually says that buyer shall within 3 days provide seller proof of sufficient funds to cover down payment and closing costs. That's great. And yes, you do have 3 days. However, in a competitive market that we're in, we want to show the seller that we are 100%. We've got all of our T's crossed and I's dotted, and we know what we're doing. We're not just kind of jumping in the game, right? So we'll need that proof of funds. And again, that's for your down payment and your closing costs. Those numbers do vary. So it's important that we have a good relationship with the loan officer you're working with. The second most important thing that a lot of clients don't know up front, unless obviously we've talked, which we're doing now, but there's a thing called initial deposit or your earnest money deposit. If you've ever played poker, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a big poker player, but if you ever heard the term ante up, right? That's the money you put in to get into the game. So kind of the same thing. You're saying, seller, I'm going to hand you this much money. I'm going to put it in escrow. Escrow is a neutral third party. So the seller can't take the money out and you can't take the money out without both of you agreeing in writing. Okay. So that's kind of a safe zone for both buyer and the seller. So you're putting that initial deposit or your earnest money deposit into escrow, and you're saying, okay, this money's in here. Please take it off the market. And now I'm going to do all of my investigations and be sure I still want to get the property. I have another video on contingency. So that's basically what that is: your physical inspection, the property appraising at value, your ability to get the loan, etc. Yeah, I'm starting to ramble here, but that's a key thing is your initial deposit. So keep an eye out for that. Typically, initial deposits are anywhere between 1% and 3%. And again, think of the term earnest money is how earnest are you to get the property. Typically, I encourage buyers to go a little bit higher, closer to the 2 to 3% range if you know you're competing against multiple buyers. Because it shows the seller you're willing to put more on the table for them to take it off the table or off the market. All right, so that's today's tip. Talk to you soon.